Another glass and I am going places. Makes me laugh about the irony of everything. I like the way you're thinking. I don't really care about the music on the dance floor. I don't really mind all the smokers in the bathroom. I don't care at all, baby. You got my attention. So you were saying, oh no, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Times another drink and I'll go anywhere. The way you smell, like a flash in the universe. You are illuminating. I don't really care about the people in the bar line. I don't really mind all the who goes doing stage dives. I don't care at all, baby. You got my attention. So you were saying, I don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me. Told you I could never let you go. I am not so sure you believe me, but if I mean to show you, I will never let you go. No, 'cause you don't see the logic of things. It's quite a lonely world that we're living in. Oh baby, you are something special, I'm sure. Everything makes total sense when you're next to me.
I'm focused. I've been watching for the omens. I've been listening to everything you said. It's been running through my head, locked and loaded. I got the feeling that you know it. Yeah, I've only just begun. I won't stop until it's done, till you're broken. So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the liar. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. So welcome to the fire. Welcome to the fire. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. So welcome to the fire. I've been waiting for this moment, the final battle of the chosen. gonna quit. Got my legacy set in motion. So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the lighter. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. So welcome to the fire. Welcome to the fire. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. Welcome to the fire. Welcome to the fire. 'Cause the bigger they are, the harder they fall. You build your fortress and I'll climb your walls. You got your armor, but I see your flaws. So welcome to the fire. I'm the one with the lighter. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. So welcome to the fire. Welcome to the fire. Feel it burning through your veins as we're walking through the flames, getting higher. Bigger they are, harder they fall.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Oh, Patrick heard the clap, and I watched him. And he's like, "Oh crap, we're going." There we go. How you doing, Patrick?
Good, man. What about you?
My hair's getting caught behind me. I gotta fix it. Where'd it go? There it is.
Just got mine done yesterday.
Your hair?
Just got my hair done yesterday. Yeah.
I did this morning.
Yeah,
so
it's a long process.
Welcome everyone to your Saturday morning live. We are happy to see everyone. The chat is very lively as usual. This last week, Patrick, was it was rough. It was a rough week. Just gonna say that. Do you know why? Do you know why? I got very little sleep this week, or sleeping was hard this week because, and I'm gonna see if this worked. I was setting this up before during the countdown, and we'll see if this magically works. We got a new friend. His name is Flynn. The little baby beagle. Oh, he's so cute. He's just chilling out with Ash right now, the big dog. So, yeah, good. That's our new little friend we got over the weekend. I saw Alex D was talking about he got a new pup also, and that is number 6 for us. So 6 dogs. Jeez. It's a good time. And that dog is loud. All the dogs, Jessica was asking how Ash likes him. All the dogs, they get along. Ash doesn't care. Like Flynn will be nibbling on his foot, and Ash he doesn't care. He just lays there. Jeez. It's all good.
Good luck with that.
So
good luck with that, my friend.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
So all right. So let's get into this. First off, big thank you to all of the members of Guy in a Cube. Very much appreciated to have you here supporting us. It helps us do what we do, and just big love to everyone who is a member. You'll see folks with a green name on their name itself. It'll be green. Those are the members of Guy in a Cube. So big shout out to them. We will also have a members only chat. We kick over to members only chat at the 30-minute mark. Everyone can still watch, but only members and moderators will be able to participate in the chat, and super chats always take priority. That's how we roll. And then put if you're new to Guy in a Cube or just new to the live stream in general, put hashtag new in the chat. We love seeing all the new faces here on the stream. It always amazes me, Patrick. Every week there's new folks that have found us, and it's always enjoyable to see. How was your week? How was your week?
It was good, man. My week was just
was chill.
So relaxed, so chill.
Yeah. You don't have to do anything during the week, so that's nice.
I learned about migrating from AS to premium, a couple of switches. Thank you, Alex. Hey Alex, for throwing me a couple of tips there. So nice. It was great. It was great.
All right, so we got Sahar, we got Wandley, Swati's new, CT is new, Hackarat says, hey, how you doing? Chewy's vintage, nice. Armando's new to the chat, good to see you. Jen is new. Kevin said he needs those tips. You got a video coming for some of that?
I'm doing a video on this. As much as Adam probably does not want me to do this video, I got some good videos coming up. I got good videos. So I'll give you guys a tease right here, and then we'll move on. Talking about multiple fact tables, slowly changing dimension, the best practice rules in this video. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. All that stuff's coming out. And none of those videos Adam approved of, but that's okay. That's all right.
Yes. I know Thomas is eagerly awaiting the slowly changing dimension video. So then Alex dropped Mark Lillyveld's blog in the chat about the AS to Power BI migration stuff.
Yes, and that's what Alex shared with me.
We were surprised also, because we're like, we heard these stories that things will break, and we tried it during a certain way, and we're like, it just worked. Like, it just worked.
Yeah, it just works.
But as with all things, it depends. So. Skip, thank you for becoming a member. Very much appreciated. All right. Questions. So if you have a question, put a Q: in front of it, and Chatmaster C is standing by. Is your iPad having issues? You keep touching it.
I think I just fixed it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I just fixed it.
All right. So Chatmaster C is standing by to queue up your questions. Just put Q: in front of it. We got that pinned to the chat as well. Please do not spam your question. We have a 3 strikes rule here at Guy in a Cube. Spamming your question will get you put in a timeout. Chatmaster C or any of the moderators who are in blue with the little gear icon, they can put you in a timeout. And if you start spamming also, you will upset Matthew, and you don't want an upset Matthew. He will bring out
Look
the
at
swords.
Alex. Look at Alex's comment.
Alex D.
Yeah, Alex D.
Yeah, chatting
Sorry.
with Alex
There's
about
so many
my
Alexes.
slowly changing dimension a couple weeks ago. Totally changed my outlook. Blew your mind. Blew your mind. Yeah. Yes. All right. Excellent. All right, let's get into the questions, Patrick. Matthias was here first and early this morning, got his question in. So he said he stumbled on this lately. What is the Power BI REST API? And is it something relevant to be considered to get into being a business user and Power BI admin? And like Patrick is zoned off now because it's, APIs and code and all that.
No, I know exactly what the REST API is. It's when Power BI takes a rest.
Okay. No. Let's I got a couple things here. Let's head over to my machine and we will let's head over to my computer. So the REST APIs are they are just that, APIs. So programmer interfaces into the actual Power BI service itself. So you can do things with these, right? There's all sorts of things you can do in terms of dashboards, reports, refreshes. So one of the things we talk about is the ability to like integrate with your ETL process, right? So there's a way that you can trigger a refresh through the REST API. And so you can integrate that into your ETL. So once your data warehouse is done loading, boom, trigger off the refresh for the data set instead of relying on schedule refresh when it may not be ready to be refreshed. So that's a good example of how you can do it. There are also admin APIs available as well. So these are specific for admins, but there are a lot of API usages for non-admins. So like I said, the refresh API is a good example. You can get refresh history through the APIs. So if, just from a workspace perspective, you can call these, assuming that they're available and enabled for your tenant. The other thing that you can do is PowerShell. And so the PowerShell items here basically wrap the APIs themselves. So like if you don't want to actually write code to call the REST APIs, you can actually use PowerShell to do that. So there's a bunch of built-in things where you can get reports, you can get a listing of reports. So if you're trying to do inventory of a given workspace, you can do that. The other thing that is very cool is if there is not an actual PowerShell commandlet that is available for the API, there is the invoke Power BI REST method. So you can call those items even if there's not an actual command for PowerShell itself. So definitely check that out. Both the PowerShell and REST APIs are there. REST APIs are also used, like if you're doing embedding, that's a way that you would get that as well. So lots of things you can do there. So,
Yeah.
Cool. All right, that's my spiel.
My iPad.
That's my spiel.
My iPad just hung up.
You're having issues today. I don't know what's up. When in doubt, reboot.
Yeah. Yeah.
The iPad, not your machine.
No, everything's good.
Yeah. All right, Mark's got one. Matthias, I hope that answered that for you. So, all right. Are you guys able to give an overview of how you suggest managing enterprise-wide standard dashboards? So development pipeline, CDM, standard data sets, how is it all connected in this situation? Go, Pat.
The first place to start with this, once you have everything that you want, make sure before you start creating reports, you have your central repository. It may be multiple data sets, So you create your central semantic models, however many there may be, try to minimize them, so you're not duplicating logic. And then, you start creating your reports, and this is where, your CI/CD and your deployment pipelines will come in. And so I like to use, when I'm developing my models, if you have premium or premium per user, it's easy because you can use version control tools that's integrated into like that Tablet Edit can use, that Visual Studio can use. Then the PBIX file is a little different. This is where I would think about using deployment pipeline. So it's a whole process, man. There's a great white paper that Melissa Coates wrote on, there's a link. Here's a link. There's a section in that white paper on best practices with data sets and dashboard stuff. I bet you Alex already posted the link.
No, he didn't post the link to that yet. He posted something else. So
Watch
he
out.
posted the link to deployment pipelines, but he also called out that ignore the data pipelines part because there's just some good best practices in there in general. So it's, if you don't have premium power or premium per user, deployment pipelines don't apply, but the process and the thought of how to handle that stuff is there. So yep. So
that's a big conversation. That's a great conversation.
It is. The other thing to think about, source control always comes up into that as well, and there's some challenges around that just because Power BI Desktop isn't necessarily source control friendly. And then also the if you are using deployment pipelines and do want some of that continuous integration, deployment stuff integration, whether it be with DevOps or GitHub or something like that, that's coming. It's not there yet, but it is part of the release plan to get that there. So, all right, we got 2 new members. We got Excel Obsessed is a new member, so thank you, welcome. And then also TK71. I got excited. I saw TK and I'm like, oh, and then it was 71. I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. And instead of TK42. So it's all good. It's all good.
And you know what? Something that when they say dashboards, I'm assuming they're talking about reports.
Yep, I always
That's
do.
what we always assume.
do. Yep, always assume that.
Assume you guys are talking about.
All right.
Rarely is talking about dashboards.
Yes. Right. Didier's got a question. What could you expect from an external tool to make DAX easier while writing a DAX formula in the desktop? Thanks a lot for the great content you provide. Well, thank you, Didier. I
did a video on why I use DAX Studio to write measures.
Mm-hmm.
And so I honestly, I like to use DAX Studio because I can test everything out and I can debug. Not that you can't debug in the little editor, the DAX editor that's in Power BI, but I like to use DAX Studio because I can fully debug everything. And Marco and I have a video.
So Brendan had a question in there. DAX Studio, what is that? Can you just show that real quick? And what is?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Ben said wait for Tabular Editor 3.
Okay, well, I don't.
You want me to go over to your
that,
machine?
so-
Can we go over to your machine?
Yeah, please. Let's head over to my machine. If you go, are you sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Screen.
You're up.
I said my screen.
Your screen.
So if you go to SQLBI.com, I like to go to SQLBI.com because they have this landing page for tools, and it's like a comprehensive list of all the tools. But then if you go right here, here's DAX Studio, and if you click on DAX Studio, you can go and download it. And what's great is it's integrated into the desktop. So you just have external tools. You click DAX Studio. It's going to open up and it's going to be connected to this PBIX file that's open. And you can start writing your DAX there. And I would definitely, there's 2 videos, right? There's the video I did with Marco. You should go watch that video. And then the video I did by myself. You should go watch that one. They will show you why. It's not that it's going to write the DAX for you. There is a query builder inside of DAX Studio, but it's more about writing queries that are that return tabular results. But if you take a look at those videos, you'll see why I use DAX Studio, because it just, I don't know, it helps with debugging. So
Yes, and we did a good video with Phil where we talked about like some of the debugging stuff. That was a good video from performance perspective. So Yep. And then Brendan commented, "No, I meant that as an answer, not as a question, but he had a question mark." So yeah, it's all good.
Okay.
We got to show it off. That's good. So
yeah.
And I'm sad. So we need to get Darren to integrate into DAX Studio just a magic button that says "Write my DAX for me."
Oh no!
If we could get that as a feature, just write my DAX. Just know what I want.
You put in,
write it. Just write it.
Well, maybe if you put a description in, you put a description of what you want, and then it automatically produces the DAX. That's game changer right there.
It's almost like the old Staples, like the fix it button or whatever it was, or the easy button. That was easy. Yes. All right. Just read my mind. Oh, I can't wait for the Matrix to be like real life, and we can just plug in and it'll just.
No.
I know DAX. Like, right? You can just upload it instead of Kung Fu. I know DAX. All right.
My iPad stopped working again.
Yay. All right, David. Workspace info REST API. It looks like it would let me get the details of files users have uploaded to my workspace, but I'm lost in the syntax being a REST newbie. Any guides or videos? So, I mean, specifically on that, nah, I don't have a video for that specifically. So whenever you call those REST APIs, it's going to give you a JSON output, right? And so you got to parse that. The other thing you could look at doing, like I mentioned before, is use the PowerShell commandlets to get that information, and then you could pump that out in a tabular format, or you can pump it out to, like a CSV file or something like that. So those are things that you could look at doing that make it a little easier. If you're calling the REST API directly, I mean, it's a JSON blob, so you got to convert that and then parse the JSON itself. So that's about the best I could give you there. Cool. All right. PA Beater's got a two-parter. All right, Patrick. This looks like a Patrick question. Part one. I have a challenge for you guys. My employer is a 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. shift place. When I create my slicer, I do year, month, day. And then part two is, but day by design goes from 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. I need it to do 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. How can this be done?
The easiest way is only include 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in your data.
Well, sure. I can think of another thing, like in your calendar table also, if that's what your work hours are, like create a column there that's like a Boolean that says like this is work hours or work day or something like that.
So you have a date and a timetable, and on the timetable you have work hours, a Boolean flag on it. That's just, if time is 7, greater than or equal to 7, less than or equal to 7, or whatever, then you set that Boolean and you filter everything in your report on that. There's lots of ways to do
Yeah, there's
this,
lots
man.
of different ways to do that.
Wow.
I would also check. I don't know, Marco, if you know off the top of your head. I don't know off the top of my head. I know like daxpatterns.com. Go check that out. There's a bunch of time intelligence there. Maybe there's something there that gives you what you're looking for. I don't know specifically, but yeah, there's lots of different ways to skin that cat.
But I'm just thinking, right? If we're 7 to 7, if GuineCube was 7 to 7, that's all we did. We didn't do anything before 7 or after 7.
I get yelled at if I went to 7 p.m.
No, but if there's nothing outside of that,
that's why
range,
I get up at 5 a.m.
If there's not, that's the only data I would have in the system. Because after that, I don't have any other data, right? But somebody, I think Matthias made a point. Go to the source, and so that's where I would start. Really, I joke and kid, but I would go to the source and see if I can only pull in that data. That simplifies things tremendously, and then if not, start doing stuff. On your calendar and date table.
Yep. I like Marco's comment here. Time transformation should be done in Power Query, not in DAX. Split date and time.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I was actually thinking, as you were mentioning that in my head, I was thinking like, well, wait, are we tracking time in the calendar table? I'm like, that should not.
No.
I would not
do
that.
You're going to have a date and a time.
Yeah.
Date and time.
Oh, Puppers is howling. I can hear him. All right. Let's do next ones. Sohail. Any idea when is the MBAS this year, Business Application Summit? And can you share one of Power BI feature demos you have seen and waiting to release in 2020 run? So MBAS, I don't know that they've announced the date for that yet, so stay tuned. I'm sure there will be. Pay attention to the Power BI blog, because there will definitely be announcements on there. Once those dates are available, I'm sure it'll be all over Twitter as well. So yeah, stay tuned on that. In terms of feature demos we've seen that we're waiting to be released, I'm trying to think, because we're a little we see all sorts of stuff, and so I'm trying to think in my head like what's actually been publicly seen. Gosh,
I mean, we can't show anything that
no, we can't show
publicly.
it. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of what's been shown publicly that I'm waiting for. So I mean there are a bunch of things that are coming. So like some of the Azure Monitor integration, object level security, those are all items that I'm eagerly waiting for. I know a lot of customers are waiting for that as well. Yeah.
Somebody said paginated report visual.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Was that Chris?
Yes.
Was that Chris?
No, it was Dan.
Was it Chris hiding as someone else? Yeah, Dan. That's funny. All right, Lance.
That is a popular feature.
Also the Power Automate visual as well. So being able to trigger a Power Automate item in the report, that'll be cool.
Yeah.
That'll be cool. You have to go back to one of your demos and change that up.
Nope. I will fix it as soon as it's out.
All right, Lance has got a question here. Can you share some tips and current issues with direct query on Power BI datasets? Oof. When datasets reside in different workspaces and contents delivered via Power BI apps.
I think regardless of where it is, it's the same challenges, right?
Yeah, the only thing from an app perspective specifically, and I haven't played around with this with the direct query over Power BI datasets, is some of the permission items. And so if you have a data set in your workspace that's part of the app, and it's referencing a data set in another workspace, those permissions flowing through. So does that end user have read access to that data set? So those are things to consider, is just the access that people have, because you may end up with some weird errors. I haven't tried that specifically.
I have not tried that.
Yeah. Just be careful. So, because the other thing, just general tips that I know that we're aware of is try not to pull in like two different large data sets. Try to just enrich a given data set with like an added dimension table. That's really what you should be looking at, not taking like two giant facts on two different sides and trying to bring them together. Like that could cause a lot of performance issues. So
the key to this is the two tables that you're establishing the relationship to, it's cardinality. And if you bring in a table that has high cardinality and you have, let's say you have a fact table where you're building that measure and you're trying to establish a relationship to another table that has millions and millions and millions of rows, the intermediate query that it's got to create to pass through to the other side can kill, almost cursed. Almost said profanity. It can mess things up. And so you gotta be careful with that. And I'm working on some videos. So it's just like Adam said, you should do complementary, incremental, small things, thousands of rows. Keep it down to thousands of rows. Marco's got a great video. You gotta watch the whole video. It's about 18 hours long. I kid. But by the time you finish watching it, you've spent about 18 hours with that video, because I've watched it and I've spent a lot of time with that video.
Yep.
Go ahead.
All right. Are you okay? You all right?
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
All right. Sarab has got a question here. Just need some guidance for the DA100 exam. Thank you. So I'm going to put a link in the chat here for the Power BI Learn. So definitely check that out. The Learn content's really focused around the DA100. And I know the person that did the tech review for that stuff. So I heard he's a good guy. So check that out. It's good information. The other thing I will call out to you is also so we do have a blueprint course that goes through some of the just the introductory to Power BI. A lot of the stuff for the DA100 is covered in there. So it's just just getting familiar with Power BI and some of the processes and stuff. So be aware of that. But definitely I would start with the Learn content and go from there. So good question. All right. Sahar. Updating parameters in the service does not update the report. I need to collect inputs from users and update the visuals. Yes, that is correct, because those parameters are for Power Query. If you have an imported data set, those parameters only take effect when you're refreshing the data set. So it's not from the user's perspective, it's from the data set's perspective. So that's not how that works. The other thing to be aware of is, so for direct query, Some data sources do support some of the M parameter usage. But based on your question, I'm assuming that you're doing imported data, not direct query, and so that's just not how that works. So use a slicer, use a filter to help filter down data itself. So what are you laughing at? What are you laughing
I
at?
like Alex's comment. Power query and parameters. Sigh. I can only imagine his face right now.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Although I did learn, I was talking with a customer that was using Snowflake with direct query, and apparently it works with Snowflake. It works.
Oh.
It worked. Doesn't work with SQL Server.
Is that an M-based data source?
I guess it has to be if it worked. So yeah,
Okay.
that was surprising. I was pleasantly surprised. So
Yeah.
they still hit it.
Sigh.
They still hit an issue with it, but they were trying to use those parameters to update the connection string, and that part's not supported. But using them to like filter down data from a Power Query perspective is good. But if you're trying to dynamically, as the user is interacting with the report, to change the like database or server that you're trying to connect to, that will fail in a blazing ball of fire.
No bueno.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, Matthias.
That's funny.
You are as much surprised as we were when that feature rolled out. I'm like, what the? Doesn't work with SQL. Yeah. Hopefully that'll get resolved. And then Alex put a link in the chat for that feature that we're talking about. So, all right, Eric. Is there a way to use direct query with APIs and auto refresh? Negative. Well, so okay, let me parse that a little bit. So direct query with auto refresh. So I think what you're talking about is in the pages you can do like the polling time for direct query where it updates. The challenge is for direct query, like APIs, the connectors for that are not direct query available. So that's not going to work. So you've got to use a connector that supports direct query. Now you could potentially write a custom connector that enables direct query and go that route. So that's something you could take a look at. Also look at maybe some third parties. Like I know CData has a lot of connectors that are available. So maybe they've got something that enables direct query over APIs. But the base items that you would connect to that inside of Power BI do not support direct query. So, cool. All right, let's get one more before we got to cut over. We're bumping up against the clock here. Jadwiga. Why and when should I use deployment or development pipelines? Deployment pipelines. DA100 question was recommend a development lifecycle strategy. Interesting. I think we already covered that though.
Yep.
You know, it's for when you want to have that continuous integration, right? So dev, test, prod, right? You want to have silos of how you deploy items, so you're not just always working directly against prod, right? So it's a typical development life cycle, right? And so the deployment pipelines are a way for you to do that.
Hey, before we switch,
all right.
There's I don't know if this is a member. I don't know about all this YouTube.
Okay. Yeah, I know. You don't pay
icons
attention
and stuff,
to it.
but there's
Yes.
one from AL. There's a question from ALAEDDIN with a little red guy in the cube.
Yes, that's a member. That's
Okay,
a member.
so we can ask that question. Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure we can answer that question because I want to show something.
Get ready to. So I think Crystal's getting ready for Chatmaster C's there. We are bumped up against the clock, so I'm gonna kick over to the member only chat. So thank you everyone for hanging out. Sorry we didn't get to your questions. We try to get to as many as we can, but there are always so many. So we are gonna go to members only. Members, get your questions in. Chatmaster C is standing by, and one of the other benefits of being a member is you can pre-submit your questions. See, Patrick, I remembered this time. And we have two that are pre-submitted. So let's hit those first while other folks are. And see, your Aladdin friend has already got the question in, so we're good to go on that. All right. So let's go with the first one. Sent from Jessica Jolly. Alt to enter. Can I create a data flow from a streaming data set? which was an interesting question. And the answer there is not even an it depends. The answer there is no. At least from what I went through, like there's not a way to do that. So a couple of challenges here. So a streaming data set, first off, is meant for streaming. The thing I would be conscious of here is that typically if we're doing a streaming pattern, what you should probably do is have something in that data pipeline that's going to be archiving that data somewhere. So typically if you're using something like Event Hubs, like streaming, Azure Streaming Analytics or something like that, where it splits, right? So part of it's going to the stream, the other part's going to go to some historical data store of some kind, so like SQL Server or something like that. And then we could do reporting off of that source. The challenge here, and what gets a little confusing is when you do the streaming data set, there's a little toggle there that says maintain historical data. The problem is though, is that the streaming data set is not a semantic data set. And so like I even went to like the XMLA endpoint and looked and like that, it's not even available. So I can't even get it from an XMLA endpoint. Because that was one thing Patrick and I were talking about was, well, let's just connect to the XMLA endpoint and get it that way. And nah, that didn't even work. And the other challenge there from a data flows is you can't actually connect to a data set. Because the idea of the data flows, is my understanding of it at least, is you're going to pull data flow information into your data set. It's not necessarily meant for the other way around. And so I would also question like why, like for a streaming data set, I get it, right? Because you're streaming, pumping data in there and you just want to grab it. You're using that as kind of your store, but I would look at some other data pipeline solution to get it stored in like SQL or something like that. That's going to be the better approach. So, all right, good question. All right, the second question from Kendall. In a matrix, I have a product name, quantity, and location. I would like to expand the quantity column so that I can see the quantity breakdown by location. Is that possible? Senor Patrick.
No, it's not possible. There is a custom visual. I was on mute because I was typing.
Yeah.
It's not possible, Kendall. They're not with the native matrix. And Adam and I said I wasn't gonna look, and then I started looking, and I found a visual from the Profit Base. These guys are called Profit Base, and
so
when they released their version 4 of it. Yeah, it's a custom visual, and it's a premium feature of their custom visual, so you have to pay for it. Yeah. And so you can go to Profit Base, and they have a matrix that allows it. It's not released yet. It'll be in version 4. It's coming out pretty soon, but you can't do it right now.
Yep.
So, yep.
I know it's been an ask for like the base matrix that comes with Power BI to be able to expand columns instead of just rows. So ideas at powerbi.com. I know like Will Thompson's heard that a lot. A lot of customers have asked for it. So, and then also we got to
wait. Let's go back to Jessica's question. I'm sorry. I want to go back to Jessica's question 1 second. I was thinking about this, and now I just noticed Marco posted.
Yeah, I was going to comment on that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
You go. So Marco had a thing.
Well, Marco showed this to me. Yeah. So Marco and I got on a call, and he showed me what he's been doing with this, and he's got a way to kind of work around this problem. It is. Oh man, it's amazing. Marco, you should come and show everyone on the stream or something what you're doing.
People may be going like, wait, push data sets and then streaming data sets. One thing I will add, so push data sets have been there since the beginning. Push it real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say though, those haven't been touched in forever.
No. Forever.
I mean, they're still there, but yeah. So that's cool. You're working on it, Marco. I'm interested in seeing it, but I just know like.
Oh man.
I also don't know of anyone that's really even using push data sets. So.
It's nice. It's nice what he did. It's really interesting.
He said you're spoiling too much.
Oh, sorry. Oops. Sorry, Marco.
Just rewind that.
I'll be quiet.
You Patrick, when you said it, you still don't know the buttons right because you can go like, right, and then you don't expose anything, so it's all good. All right.
I just said it was nice. All I said it was nice. It was just nice.
He's the one that spoiled it, not you.
I know. He went into it.
What's up with that? All right. So we got a couple new members. So thank you, Mihail, Mark, and Nathaniel. Thank you so much for becoming members. Very much appreciated. All right. So hopefully, Jessica and Kendall, that answered your questions.
Yeah.
Let's see here. All right. So you said Aladdin's question, which
it's two parts.
Okay, it's two parts. All right, yeah. We'll do the first part. I'm gonna do the first part first. Hang on.
And Marco,
Just wait. Let me read the question. Hang on. My question is about something in the latest Power BI blog post, best practice rules to improve your model's performance. It's mentioned that measures should not be direct reference of other measures. I'd like to know why it's not best practice and what are the drawbacks of doing that. The other thing I'll call out, and hey, Alex, if you can drop the blog post if you haven't already. I'd like to call out that the BPA rule for tabular editor. So that was done by Michael Kowalski on the Power BI Cat team. So shout out to him. And then before Patrick goes on his spiel, because he's very passionate about that, one thing I will say is some of those rules, like the performance related ones, definitely are a must. Some of the other ones, like I would say, it's going to depend on what you're doing. So take it as, this is just some general advice, and you may not end up implementing some of these. Like some of them was like, one of the rules is like, make sure you have a description on every item. Like that, it's general good practice, yes. But is it a blocker for you to deploy? That's a business decision on your end. Okay, go Patrick.
So go, and you should go check out Michael's blog post, right? Michael's a blog. He's got elegantbi.com. He's got some good stuff out there. Go to my laptop. I want to show something though for this question. And Marco already answered it.
That wasn't your laptop. That was not your laptop. Let's go to your laptop.
Head over to my machine.
There you go.
And so I have a video coming in a couple of weeks. Who knows when Adam's going to let it release, but it's already uploaded. It's recorded. It's going But if you open up the tablet editor, once you get it all set up, if you want to know why, why Michael added this rule, if you go, so can you see the tablet editor on the screen?
That's so small, man.
Yep. All right, I'm gonna zoom in. No worries. Okay.
I don't know why you just don't bump up your
open,
thing, man. Just make it bigger. All right. Anyway, go.
Okay. And then you click on tools, because I know how to use zoom in.
Matthew,
and you click on tools.
Yeah, I'm going to yell at him if he doesn't. He hasn't done it yet, so there he goes. He's zooming.
And if you use
he knows what I'm going to say
rules,
also. Yeah, manage BPA rules. Go ahead.
And if you click on manage BPA rules, and you choose, depending on how you set this up, and you choose, wherever you set it up, I set mine on my local machine, and then you'll see all the rules down here, right? All the rules. And the one that you're talking about in particular is I think it's this one right here. Measures should not be direct references. If you just click on this and go to edit rule, he actually provides really good descriptions of why this rule is there. And for some of them, he's got corresponding hyperlinks or blog posts that he's written to explain why. And this is just saying, don't have a direct reference. Don't duplicate that measure. And I think Marco already answered that question in the chat. But I just wanted to show this because a lot of people go, why is this rule there? Why is that rule there? He puts descriptions for everyone. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say, Adam.
Is it all you wanted to say? Is that it? So, and just to call out what Marco was saying there. So it said the rules identify measures which are simply a reference to another measure. And then this rule would be triggered for measure B if measure B's DAX was something like that. So, yeah.
Yep.
Definitely run it.
I'm
so
happy this came up, though.
And I can tell you that, so like when Patrick and I are engaging with a customer on, if it's a performance issue or something that we've been engaged on, there are a couple things that we always do. One is we ask for a VPAX file from DAX Studio or just the Vertipack Analyzer stuff in general, because we want to see what it looks like. And then the other thing we'll go do is run this BPA rule thing on it. We've been using that for quite a while because we've had it from a Power BI Cat team. We've been working with Michael on it, and he's given it to us, and now it's publicly available for everyone. We've been using it for a while, so Yeah, and so I do like Marco's comment also. So everyone should define their BPA rules for their company, right? Because everyone's a little different in how you do it. You have your own policies and processes and stuff that you care about. Like I mentioned before, sometimes it's a business decision on like what do you guys actually care about. The blog post is a good starting point, and then you can take that, modify it. Take the things that are important to you. The performance ones, stuff that generally handles like model size and performance, like those. I mean, you should have those. So like the one of them I had where it looks at unused columns in your model. I'm sure there's ones that are worse than this, but there was one where, what was it? It was like something like almost 3,000 columns that were unused were in the model.
Yeah,
Like, why do we have those? Like, why? Why? 3,000? I'm like, good Lord. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. All right. Paul's got one. Mr. Paul Cooper. Any idea on how to implement something 18N of reports? I don't know what that is. Oh, field name and text, not field data based on the user viewing the report. What is that? I don't know what the thing is between implement and of. What?
Oh, localization. He said localization.
Oh, okay.
Cooper,
Field names and text, not field data. So translation support with the model. You can do that. So using Tabular Editor, you can do the translation pieces. You've got to have an XMLA endpoint though to do it if you want translations. And then that will help there. Yeah, the localization of those items. So that's the only way you can do that. So what I don't know, someone in the chat may know, we do support that against Power BI Desktop as well. So you don't need the XML endpoint. That's one of the things that are supported.
Translations?
Yeah, with Tabular Editor against Power BI Desktop, that's one of the things I thought was supported. So like you can do measures.
Perspectives.
I thought translations was one of them. Yeah, I'd have to go find the article again to look at it, but pretty sure it is. I'm gonna say it is. Someone can prove me wrong if I'm wrong. So yeah, take a look at Tabular Editor. You can define metadata translation, so that's table names, column names, things of that nature. That is supported for different languages. Now the challenge is going to be though is like based on the user viewing it, you may have to have a like I think there's like some funky stuff that goes with that. So just play around with that and see if that gets you going. All right, Power BI tips. I'm assuming that's our friend Mike. Are there any issues using thin reports in Workspace A and datasets in Workspace B with deployment pipelines? It should work. Hang on, Patrick. I know you're gonna. Are you talking about this question? Are you wanting to say something about this question or the previous question? You're muted also. So, but yeah. So in terms of, yeah, okay. So in terms of deployment pipelines, so deployment pipelines are going to manage the dev test production in those chains. So I don't know if you mean like the report in Workspace A, the datasets in Workspace B, are they both part of the deployment pipeline? I'm assuming no. But if you have a report in a deployment pipeline and say the datasets in another workspace that's maybe either part of a different deployment pipeline or just not at all, they should work. I don't know why they wouldn't work. They're not going to be, so whichever one's not in that deployment pipeline is not going to be updated according to the deployment pipeline. So be aware of that. Cool. All right, what were you going to say?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Nothing. Okay. All that for nothing.
Go ahead. Yeah, I'm still looking. Yeah, all that for nothing.
Oh no. Alex D is he's dropping a bomb in the chat. Feature branch development. Desktop hardening. What could be more important? Discuss.
I don't know.
My answer to that is going to be yes. Yes. So the
Yes.
the desktop hardening, man, we have conversations about this all the time. That's a journey. There's a lot of good
Yeah.
things that could come from that. I know a lot of people are probably scratching their head. What do you mean by desktop hardening? It's about the model and consistency with like the Azure Analysis Services versus Power BI Desktop and things of that nature. So yeah,
What is desktop hardening?
I just answered that.
Well, I didn't hear the answer.
Were you not listening to? You never listen to me.
I was not. I was not listening.
You never listen to me. It's all right. I never listen to him either, so that's fine. It's fine. All right, Alex. I don't know if that answered your
Somebody
question.
said answer. Somebody said answer it again. I was reading.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Belinda. She's a troublemaker. It's the model, right? So it's the model. So desktop hardening is just about hardening the model itself. The differences between Azure Analysis Services and I don't know if she's just messing with us or not. That's very possible. It's very possible. So the differences between Azure Analysis Services and what Power BI Desktop is doing from a model perspective, that is so trying to get Power BI Desktop in line and consistent. So because sometimes they're doing things with Power BI Desktop because it's not, it might be easier to do it in Power BI Desktop as opposed to Azure Analysis Services. And so this is also why, because I mentioned like the metadata translations, I think is supported with using Tabular Editor against desktop. There are some things that we say are not supported using Tabular Editor against desktop, and the desktop hardening would enable that because sometimes desktop is like changing things on the fly. Even though you edit it from a Tabular Editor perspective, it may auto adjust certain things, and so it's just things you need to be aware of. And so the desktop hardening is just getting that in line. It's going to be a journey, and probably not something you're necessarily going to see a big blog announcement about. So. All right, moving on. Oh, Belinda said she was not messing with us. So excellent. She is a troublemaker. She does admit she is a troublemaker, and I know this. I do know this. All right, Mr. Ben. I should know this, but has the window expired to get preview premium per user access? I don't think so. No, I think it's just there. It's there for everyone, right? No, it's not even that.
Yeah.
So if you're in Power BI, the challenge is going to be if you actually did the pro trial already, like that may be problematic. But if you never did the pro trial, you should see some items there that look like it's like, hey, try for free or try for 60 days or whatever. It's part of that flow. And so if you do the trial, in-service trial for like Power BI Pro, so you'll have to hit like a premium per user feature in order to get the prompt for it, but then you just say, yes, I want to try the 60-day pro trial, and then you can just keep extending it. And for while we're in public preview, that will work. That's how you do it. So yes, it's still available. People can opt in, and that is available until it is generally available, and then that trial thing will be limited. All right, and then Trench, thank you for becoming a member. All right, Mumu. Is there a way to display some value of calculated column measure for all the months in a table along with other columns?
The same value, right?
Same
Display
value.
same value. So if I have a
For
table
all the months.
and I have January, February, March, April, May, June, and I want to get like the total sales for that whole year, just use calculate value and put all and remove the context of the filter, whatever table you're trying to.
Well, that's in a
display it
measure
with.
though, right? That's not a calculated column.
Well, it says calculated column / measure. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
yeah.
So definitely do that in a measure, and then you can control the filter context.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know any other way to do it.
Excellent.
Do you?
No, you're right.
Okay.
You know what I know. I know what you know.
Okay.
We're identical twins, so I mean that's
right. Are you feeling hungry right now?
I am actually.
sure
I am. All right. No chat picked up on the whole identical twins thing. That's interesting.
No.
How to Giovanni, how to get shared with user list. Oh boy. So programmatically getting so there's a bigger question here in terms of like how do we get a listing, like maybe programmatically or whatever, of who has access to what, which includes what's been shared with what. So that's not available today. So there's no programmatic way to get that. And from an admin perspective, there's not a way to see that either. So ideas.powerbi.com is the best I can give you there. It's not the first time I've heard that question. So it's definitely, especially enterprise customers are asking for features like that. So stay tuned. Best I can say. And then vote it up on ideas.powerbi.com.
That's a common question. We see that one a lot.
Yes. Oh, and just so with the identical twins, I don't know if Jessica said danger of bald jokes. Maybe. And then Paul was asking if we were separated at birth. Who knows? Who knows? Wyatt, buddy, thank you for the super chat. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. All right. Let's move it along. Mark Lund. Can we have buttons that allow a link to open an existing tab rather than a new one? Would get seamless nav between, yeah. No, not that I'm aware of. Well, wait a second. So from a button, no, I don't think you can control that from a button. From if you're doing like the links in the app navigation, there is a drop down where you can say like new tab or current view, where it'll go up in the current view. So that's an option. But from a button perspective, there's not a way to control like the target of the link. So it's always going to be another tab, which is I get the pain. Yeah, I get the pain. Yeah, for an app, there's a drop down where you can kind of control new window or in the current content view. But for an actual button, there's no target option to determine where it's going to go. Sorry about that. Ideas.powerbi.com.
But if I do conditional target, I just don't know how that will work. When I click the button, I can go to another page based on.
That's not a link though. Like if I actually wanted to go to like a URL link or something of that.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Brendan. M came up a few times during the open chat. What's the best book to learn it and strengthen skills?
I think they have a thing going with Jessica, and it's based on some book. What's the book, Jessica or Alex? I don't know.
So I know Gil Revives,
like this course.
Gil Revives got a Power Query book.
Look, she just posted it.
A book. Yeah, Gil Revives' book. Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Hey Alex, can you drop a link? Yeah, it's Gil Revives' book. I think it's been out for a little while. I think he had a second edition. It hasn't changed much. So yeah. And then Wyatt also said M is for Data Monkey. So I also know, Alex Powers on his YouTube channel, he was doing like a 30 days Power Query thing. So that's good info as well. Chris Webb's blog has a ton of good information. So yeah. Cool. And then Thomas also said Ruth Pozuelo's Kerbal YouTube channel. She does a bunch of stuff there too.
Yeah. She does a bunch of stuff.
Yep. Cool. Whoa, what did we do? All right. Mihail. If my report pulls from an Excel file, is there any way to have the Excel name dynamic? The name of the Excel file is updated. IG, if there's dates in the files without this breaking the connection. Yes. There's two ways that I can think of. Are you reading my mind, Patrick?
I'm skeptical, but go ahead.
So the ways I'm thinking of is do folder instead of Excel file, because in folder it's going to pull all the files that are there, and you can just like kind of loop through them. So it doesn't necessarily matter in that sense. The other thing I'm thinking is like you could do some parameter type stuff. You could do folder. I think is probably the better route to go. If you've got files that are changing and you've got like based on days and they're all the same schema, just go the folder route instead.
Because if you're going to a specific file in the connection string, when I deploy it, if the file name changes, somehow that connection string needs to update.
Yep. Yeah, so Brendan was mind meld with me on that too, because he even said I'd say use a folder, and I'd say yep. Go the folder route. So I don't know if you saw. Oh, it was funny in the chat. I caught it. So Paul said that you and I should write a book.
Paul, thank you, but I am never ever writing a book again in my life.
Yeah, but what was funny was Matthew's comment was like, "Why do you hate Adam and Patrick?"
That's right.
It's a lot. Books are a lot of work. Books are a lot of work. We've talked about it. But the other challenge with a Power BI book is it changes so much so fast that it's I don't know. All right.
Thank you, Paul. But
yes,
thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Okay.
Did you?
What? Did I what?
No, go ahead. Somebody asked how long. Did you see that one? How long we've known each other? Somebody's wife asked how long we've known each other. You missed it.
Years. Decades even. Over a decade.
Yeah.
Because I think it was like 2009 that we first met, I think.
Yeah.
So it's over a decade.
Look at Alex. Alex put a link to all my books. Do not write books. They are too much work.
You still get a little residual off of that too, right?
I do. I just got 2 1099s. I did.
It's nothing. It is.
I got I get these whopping royalty checks of like every month, like $11.52.
Oh, that's big money.
Something like that.
Go buy you a coffee.
Big money, baby.
All right, Michael. Let's get some more questions in before we get out of here. SQL BI had a good video this morning about using Analyze in Excel OLEDB connection in Excel. Any experience with creating Excel-based reports with this connection string failing over time? Does it expire? I don't think it expires because it's using some of the underlying connections to the data set. I mean, Analyze in Excel is good. Why not just use a data set connection in Excel? I haven't watched the video, so I don't necessarily know the points that he called out. So Analyze in Excel is an option. But we can also connect directly to the data set as well. I don't believe it expires. So I think it's just going to go. It's like the XML point almost of like how it does it. So what? Alex's?
I'm reading the chat. Just
yes.
No, somebody was like the author headshot on Amazon. Look at it.
Oh, that's his old picture. It's amazing. Yes, he had that for the longest time. All right, Michael. I hope that answered your question. All right, Rishi. Let's get Rishi in here before we drop it. I think Rishi, you're going to be the last one. Are there any best practices for snapshotting data, capturing measure results for a set of dimension values each month? Not in Power BI. This has come up a few times where people want snapshot type capability. So like with paginated reports on premises, so like Power BI report server or SQL Server reporting services, there was a snapshot feature of the reports. That doesn't exist for Power BI reports. So you got a couple options there. One, like you could do like a PDF output at certain intervals, which I don't think is really what you want. The other option is like if you can export the PBI desktop after it refreshed, that's an option. Outside of that, do it at the source. Capture it at the source and what those snapshot data is. It's not necessarily a way to do it from a Power BI perspective directly. Any other thoughts on that?
Nope. Nice,
right.
Perfect.
Mumu did have one other question. It's more of a logistical question, so I do want to address that. So he asked, how do I pre-submit questions? So this is for the visitor tier or higher. So if you're in that tier, check out the community tab on the Power BI on the YouTube channel, on the GuideCube YouTube channel. And so I post every once in a while of like how to pre-submit the questions. You can, if you scroll through it, you'll see it. And that's only available for visitor tier or higher. So that's the only way you're going to see that instruction. And so you can do it that way, Mumu. So if you're not in the visitor tier or producer tier, that's not one of the perks. So, alrighty. Patrick, any final thoughts?
Have a great weekend. Have a great weekend. I know I am.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. Same to you, my friend. And everyone, we will see you next week. We got Phil Seamark's going to be with us. And he's based in New Zealand. It's going to be really late for him.
Yeah.
So kudos to him for that.
Mr. Dax, that tips himself.
Yes. So Phil Seamark will be in the house. Accent and
he's got something really cool to show.
Okay.
He's got something really cool to show.
Something. He did mention it. I don't even know what he's going to show. I don't know. Patrick knows.
You cannot wait. Patrick knows. Yeah, you got you. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
All right, folks. We'll see you next week.